Good morning, everyone. We are very much happy to welcome all of you to the first International Research Conference on Healthy Delights Arogyam 2022, organized by the Faculty of Allied Health Sciences under the sphere of Jaffna University International Research Conference 2022. Firstly, I kindly request all of you to rise for a silent prayer of 1 minute. Thank you. I kindly request you to remain standing for the lighting of oil lamps. Firstly, I kindly invite our Vice Chancellor, Professor Sivakulundu Sri Sadgunaraja, the General Chair, Jaffna University International Research Conference 2022 to light the oil lamp first. Next, I kindly invite Professor Vasanthi Arasratnam, the Chairman, Standing Committee on Allied Health Sciences, University Grants Commission, to light the oil lamp. Next, I kindly call upon Professor Nitushi Samaranayaka, the keynote speaker of the conference, to light the oil lamp. Next, I kindly invite our former Vice Chancellors, Emeritus Professor P. Balasundaram Pillai, Emeritus Professor N. Shanmugalingam, to light the oil lamp. I kindly invite Dr. S. Mohanadas to light the oil lamp. I'm happy to invite Mrs. Devi Tapodaran, Dean, Faculty of Allied Health Sciences, and the General Chair of the conference to light the oil lamp. Next, I kindly call upon Mrs. Lakshmi Kamalaruban, the conference chair, to light the oil lamp. Next, I'm happy to invite the following dignitaries to light the oil lamp. Dr. Mrs. S. Sri Muralidharan, Dean, Faculty of Hindu Studies. Dr. P.A.D. Kunje, Acting Dean of Faculty of Medicine. Professor P. Ravirajan, Dean, Faculty of Science. Next, I kindly call upon Mr. S. Kediswaran, Acting Librarian, University of Jaffna, to light the oil lamp. I kindly invite Professor G. Nikundan, respected Council Member, University of Jaffna, to light the oil lamp. Next, I kindly invite Mr. M. Tiruvadavuran, respected Council Member, to light the oil lamp. Next, I kindly call upon Dr. K. Sivabalan, External Member of Faculty Board of Faculty of Allied Health Sciences, to light the oil lamp. Next, I am happy to invite Dr. Mrs. T. Tiliban, Head, Unit of Siddha Medicine, to light the oil lamp. I would like to call upon Mrs. Vinitra Jagaprakash, Secretary of the conference, to light the oil lamp. Next, I kindly invite Dr. Mrs. S. Sivasinduja, the Chief Editor of the conference, to light the oil lamp. Thank you all. Please be seated. Yes, dear ladies and gentlemen, we are modernized. We wear modernized attires. We take instant and fast food. And we love to be with technologies all day. But remember, it is always important to look back where we started, how we evolved, and what led us to what we are today. Our ancestors have paved us path with immense wealth of goodness. Nevertheless, the COVID 19 pandemic has made us realize this inevitable truth. Once again, we welcome you all to the first International Research Conference on Healthy Delight Arogyam 2022 with the theme of Hark Back in Shaping Health Futures. This day provides you plenty of opportunities to discuss and exchange your experiences, knowledge, and insight. We hope that you'll earn a productive span of time throughout the day.
To kickstart the event, we would like to present you a pleasant slice of Sri Lankan culture with an astonishing fusion dance. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have our dear undergraduates of the Faculty of Allied Health Sciences on the stage, please.
would like to kindly invite the following dignitaries to join the head table on stage, please. Our Vice Chancellor, Professor Sivakolundu Sri Sadgunaraja, the General Chair, Jaffna University International Research Conference 2022. Professor Nithushi Samaranayaka, the keynote speaker of the conference. The Dean, Faculty of Allied Health Sciences, Mrs. Devi Tapodaran, she is the General Chair of the conference. Mrs. Lakshmi Kamalaruban, the conference chair. Mrs. Vinitra Jagaprakash, the secretary of the conference. And Dr. Mrs. S. Sivasinduja, the chief editor of the conference. Thank you all. I kindly call upon Mrs. Devi Tapodaran, the Dean, Faculty of Allied Health Sciences, and the General Chair of the conference to deliver the welcome address.
Dear Vice Chancellor and the General Chair of JUICE 2022, Professor Sri Sadgunaraja, Conference Chair Mrs. Lakshmi Kamalaruban, Keynote Speaker Professor Nithushi Samaranayaka, Member of the University Grants Commission, Senior Professor Vasanthi Arasaratnam, former Vice Chancellors of the University of Jaffna, respected Council members, Acting Librarian, Registrar, Bursar, Professors, Consultants, distinguished invitees, staff from Faculty of Medicine and Faculty of Allied Sciences, administrative staff of the University of Jaffna, committee members of ICHT 2022, authors of research papers and the participants of the conference. A very good morning to you all. It gives me great pleasure and privilege in welcoming you all to the first International Research Conference on Healthy Delights, Arogyam, organized by the Faculty of Allied Sciences under the umbrella conference of JUICE 2022, conducted both physically and virtually with the theme of Hackback in Shaping Health Futures. The unit of Allied Health Sciences was established in 2006 and then it was upgraded into full-fledged faculty in December 2019. Since the inception, Allied Health Sciences has been producing quality graduates in the field of health sciences as another milestone in its journey in disseminating the health science knowledge. Today, the Faculty of Allied Health Sciences is conducting this conference with the theme of Hackback in Shaping Health Futures. It is one of the contributions that this faculty makes to the scientific world, and we will continue to strive to ensure our contributions in the future too. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome our Vice Chancellor, Professor Sivakolundu Sri Sadgunaraja sir. His immense support and encouragement made this event a reality. Dear sir, I welcome you with a grateful heart in this moment. I would like to welcome our keynote speaker, Professor Nithushi Samaranayaka, for this conference, madam. I am honored to welcome you, madam, as the keynote speaker to this research conference. I am very much delighted to welcome our guest speaker, Mrs. Shima Samuel Phillips, Administrator and Head of the Health Quality Care from Qatar. Next, I am extremely happy to welcome our Senior Professor Vasanthi Arasaratnam, Madam, Member of the University Grants Commission, and our former Vice Chancellors to this conference. Madam Arasaratnam has always been an inevitable mentor of the Faculty of Allied Sciences. On behalf of the Faculty of Allied Sciences, I wholeheartedly welcome the Deans of the Faculty, former Vice Chancellors of the University of Jaffna, respected Council members, external members of Faculty Board of Faculty of Allied Sciences. I extend my warm welcome to the Acting Librarian, Registrar and Bursar. They have never failed to guide and support us whenever we needed. I welcome you all. I also extend my warm welcome to the consultant, professors, distinguished invitees, senior academics, administrative staff of the University of Jaffna, Assistant Registrar of the Faculty of Allied Sciences, academic support staff members, other staff members of the Faculty of Allied Sciences, also authors of the research papers, members of the VC Media of the University of Jaffna. Welcome to the JUICE 2022. I hope we will have a successful conference with a fruitful scholarly discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam. Next, I am happy to invite Mrs. Lakshmi Kamalaruban, the conference chair, to address the gathering.
Also, authors of the research papers, members of the VC Media of the University of Jaffna. Welcome to the JUICE 2022.
Good morning, all of you. I am happy to welcome you all for the first International Research Conference on Healthy Delights, Arogyam 2022. It's long aspiration of Faculty of Allied Health Sciences
Thank you, Madam.
to have a research
Next, I
conference
am happy
on
to
its
invite
own.
Mrs. Lakshmi Kamalaruban, the conference
And
chair,
now
to
it's
address the
come
conference.
true after a long period. As a young faculty, we initiate the steps to promote scientific researches and interprofessional collaborations. Also, the University of Jaffna recognized the importance of developing a research culture among the allied health professionals and has initiated these maiden steps. I am sure it will provide a platform for all multidisciplinary allied health professionals, nationally and internationally. I appreciate the effort made by the Faculty of Allied Health Sciences, University of Jaffna, for this good initiative, and I hope this will be expanded further in the future. This conference is one of the satellite one-day conference under the sphere of Youth Conference of University of Jaffna. Here, 144 participants registered. Many are local participants, and the other countries participated are India and Qatar. The theme of the conference of this year is Hark Back in Shaping Health Futures. Yes, we all know we are facing a lot of health issues nowadays with non-communicable diseases and communicable diseases. We have to find lifestyle modification to reduce these diseases. Hark back in shaping health futures means we have to look at our traditional lifestyle habits which we followed in the past to shape our health futures. Under this theme, the papers are received in 4 main areas, which are non-communicable and communicable diseases, physical and psychological well-being, COVID-19 lifestyle challenges, and clinical diagnosis and pharmacotherapy. The paper received related to various fields such as nursing, pharmacy, medical laboratory sciences, psychology, and sports sciences. I am grateful for the constant support given by Vice Chancellor Professor Sri Satyanaraja and Dean Faculty of Allied Health Sciences Mrs. David Abodhara. I also thank our keynote speaker Prof. Nidushi Samaranayaka to accept our invitation and grace this occasion. I am also very much thankful for our guest speaker Mrs. Emblet Shima. And I know that the success of the conference depends on the hard work of many people who have worked with us. I especially thank the committee members of the conference, staff and students of the Allied Health Sciences who have worked with us to organize this conference successfully. I would like to express my gratitude and sincere appreciation for all eminent speakers, reviewers, fact chairs, fact coordinators, presenters, and all the participants. Thank you all. All the big journeys begin with small steps. I hope that this annual research conference will be more substantial every year. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Next, I am very much honored to invite our Vice Chancellor, Professor Sivakodundu Sri Satkunaraja, to address the gathering with his nourishing words.
மணியின் ஒளியே ஒளிரும் மணி புரண்ட அணியே அணியும் அணிக்கு அழகே அணுகாதவர்க்கு பிணியே துணி தீர்க்கும் மருந்தே பணியேன் ஒருவரே பக்கபாதம் பணிந்து. So in this hymn, we normally sing for Divine Mother. So when you don't listen to her, then you get problems, health problems. The Divine Mother is basically nature. We are dwelling in this nature. In the nature, initially the space was created. Space, just imagine living without space. You worried about the land. Space created. And then the sound, then the air, fire, water, the soil. The nature supports us. So if we are not consistent with the nature, we get into trouble. The nature operates according to some rules. So the modern man wanted to overload the nature. So he finds something for some reason, and then he markets those things. And then after some time, again to make money, they talk about that disasters rising out of that marketing. So the madam, the keynote speaker, is going to address that as a pharmacist. So the consequences of drug management and how these human beings have been all the time used as a guinea pigs for experimenting drugs. So today, Arogya is about the health. Health is our wealth. So we are human beings, feeling machines. Feeling machine. Our entire body feels. So what do you feel when you are healthy? Somebody asked my master about some feeling after doing some meditation. The master gave a technique to meditate. Then he visited the place after many years. Then the lady asked, "Come on, sir, I am practicing this what you said. But nothing happened to me." Then the master said, "Okay, what do you feel if you are healthy? So what do you feel if you are unhealthy?" So when you are unhealthy, you feel pain. You complain. Your peace gone. So if you feel healthy, you feel nothing. You are free from all the nonsense. So like a child, innocent, you sleep, you play, you do whatever you like. So the Arogya is about feeling nothing. Oh no, our mind is scrolling. Worry about next hour and so many other things. So, ladies and gentlemen, in the allied health sciences, it is a science. And today, even the keynote speaker had brought up from the science faculty. And our pharmacology lady also, pharmacist ladies, agriculture science. So that's the way things originate. So now the sub-specializations are coming in the entire scenario of cultivation of knowledge. So at the age of 47 years, the University of Jaffna, now glorified with this conference, the first maiden conference, Arogya, that is shaping the health future. So hark means we want to listen. We want to pay attention. So we want to pay attention to about our life. So I'm a mathematician. So my field of specialization is a dynamical system. A dynamical system means something to do with the time. That is the dynamics mean. Something changing with the time. Time is the main parameter. So as a person, now I am 62, 63 years old means my body clock is running, whether your calendar is being taken off or not, whether your Rolex watches are moving or not. So our body clock is running. So I am evolving all the time. So entire universe is within my body. So we have a fluid blood circulating. We have the management of air circulating. Without air circulation, it's the most important thing. The first thing they check in my birth, whether I was breathing. Otherwise, they would have shaken me like this. So I would have gone blue. The first thing they check. Even the last thing they check when I exit this world, whether the breath comes. So air circulation is there. Not only that, the fluid, liquid, air, and the excretion system working, and digestion takes place. Even solids are moving in our body. So entire dynamical system, as a mathematician, I tell you, this has to do with optimization. This paper is falling because to minimize the energy, because this potential is high. So the lower the potential is falling, that is the lower gravitation. So similarly, now we have, in this modern world, activated so much, we are increasing the potential. Now we call the name stress. We are not down to earth. The simple life gone. Now we have created dollar problem. After the independence, 70, 80 years. Before independence, there were no dollars. We have a 3,000 years history. Our ancestors had a long life. So we have in this university indigenous medicine department or unit. We have allied unit. We have a Western medical unit. We have a science faculty. Biological science there. We concentrate about life sciences, origin of life, entomology, dengue, mosquitoes, how to manage this. So another wing is operating. I know our parasitology, pharmacology people are working with them in the science sector. So entire our energy with the public money, now we have been focusing. So new dimension of thinking are coming because it's not something we are growing, because we want to understand. As a mathematician, I'll tell you, understanding the problem is more important. That is how the problem solved. So the prevention of diseases, that's the most important head phrase now spoken all over the world. The healthy life means that's what you want to prevent, because there are problems in this world. I tell you, in the entire universe, the system could be divided into three according to the Shastra. Shastra knowledge also another knowledge. That is Siddha and Ayurveda is all about. When the doctors give up entire treatment, then our people go to Ayurveda. Recently I met a person, 94 years old. Then he had 3 times cancer. He had 100% block in the heart, for 100% block, entire arteries. But he went for another alternative medicine, and he still survived. Even yesterday I listened to that. So what I am saying is, so entire management of health, we have an ancient wisdom, modern wisdom, then we have a ever-growing science, then the artificial intelligence. Now the fourth industrial revolution is happening. You know, my phone will tell you where to do. What is your problem? It asks. You can talk to the phone. I have some problem. I have back pain. What to say? But then artificial intelligence, deep learning says, okay, why don't you try this? And maybe you. What is the cause for this? So entire system is now multidimensional, multidisciplinary. So now the conventional system is breaking down. All the barriers are now getting broken. In the modern countries, now they call it mega faculties. Even the mathematics, statistics, computer science are merged now. Even some computer engineering, they call it school of computing. The faculty things are breaking in, mega faculties, because we have to sit down together with other people and do the problem. You can't just teach statistics for computer community medicine people separately, because this is growing very fast. There is no time for this. That's what this artificial intelligence platforms are coming. People don't. Life is very short. So we have little time. So we don't have time to coding and all this. We don't have a time to do the data analysis by ourselves. So we have to sit down with other people and do the data analysis, because the primitive thing you are doing now, principal component analysis. So it's a very primitive thing. It may be 100 years old. So new things are coming, new tools are coming. So we should be ready. That's what this purpose of this conference. A lady come, Hong Kong trained, Columbia University Science, a young professor, Lithuania. So today her presence make this place wonderful, because hearing from the wise, we become wise. So we are looking forward to hear from her. And another eminent lady coming from the nursing sector, that is the Emily from Samuel Phillips from another country, Qatar. So that is another background. So today in allied health science, I tell you, when this optimization is a big thing, we want to minimize our resource utilization. Today QR is operating. So yesterday I saw our consumption of fuel is gone half. Something like a weekly 300 million to 200 million. So our consumption is going down. So sometimes we want to buy a sugar also, we went with the motorbike. Now we are walking. So this realization comes after things are going out of our hand. Because we don't ourselves apply these things by our choice. Only the compulsion we are working, because I know individually Sri Lankans are very good. All are educated. Even Google boss said the Sri Lankans are well educated, well disciplined. But collectively we fail. Collectively we fail. The my car, public road, and the petrol we buy. So there was traffic congestion all over the country. And that caused a lot of problem for us. And every people want to have a vehicle. So our public transport was ignored, our policies were down. So that sort of thing created a problem. So now what is the solution? So we have to intellectually, we have to think, because Lord Krishna says knowledge is the ultimate solution for all the problems. Today's society is a knowledge-based society. Elon Musk is the richest man. One man can buy Sri Lanka or even half of India. But he started his career by PayPal. He developed a system in the internet to save money transaction. Now he is running SpaceX. He has developed electrical vehicle. He has given up that. A single man. The knowledge base. But he is employing more Indians and Sri Lankans in his companies. Not our people. We are employing 400,000 security forces in this country. In Switzerland, there is no security forces. One of the top countries in the world. Because we don't know what to do with our choices. So wrong decision making. Because the problem for everything is wrong thinking. So individually we are good. But collectively we fail. So our revival depends on, again, the allied health sciences, medical sciences, our medical sciences, and the indigenous medicine sciences, science faculties, zoology department, we are all working together. So that's the place the conference pays the way, because we don't restrict this paper and research dissemination or presentation confined to one faculty. So this give a platform for all us to think together, because listening is the most important thing, because only organ in our body never get closed even after death. Highway is open. Now the video conference technology is working, and also we don't need the big tools. Even the phone, small phone is enough. Even outdated, not the high-end phone. Even the low-end phone is good enough to get planets. In the entire universe. How can mathematicians prove this Big Bang? So, so it's coming from one singularity. So this evolution is now taking place. The dynamical system is 4,500 million years old. Do you think you can verify this? Yes, our sun is 4,500 million years old. Half of the lifetime of sun is gone. So we can check it from the radiation. How old sun is, the carbon dating. So the hydrogen becomes helium, so half of the fuel is gone. The Shastra also says this. The physics professor is here. So out of this evolution, heavenly planets came. There no complaint. There's no blood circulating. Reproduction you don't need to carry for 10 months. After immediate love you can have the baby. Something like that they say. Heavenly planets. Then we have a marginal planets. The marginal planets is something like Earth. And then there is a hellish planet. There's no resources. Always, even you are trying hard to get even the raining done. Dry, dark. Some of the films you see, the King Lion or something. There's a hellish life. So in the marginal life, okay, even if you conduct your life in a perfect disciplined manner, you get into problems. That is the corona is all about. Similarly, the epidemic problems. This kind of pandemic kind of situation. It's not only now, the plague, the Spanish flu, and these are coming and attacking us. So it's a marginal planet. Marginal planet, we are given the intelligence to protect ourselves. So the COVID time, so we have been advised not to go outside unnecessarily. No, that is applicable even every day. So the Japanese had a better life because they washed their hands and very disciplined life. The Swedes, they never bothered about anything when the Europe was crying. So our customs, culture, is all matters. So in the marginal planet, I tell you today, even you are rich, even you have a sophisticated doctors in the world giving the nutrition, guidance, all kind of better, consultancy, still you are vulnerable. One mosquito comes from the window from nowhere. The bugs problems are there. Even the surgical top sterilized service, surgical theaters, the bugs problems are there. So for that, we had to make continuous endeavor to cultivate knowledge. That is the research is all about. Research. So nature is a fruitful source of discovery. For example, look at the mosquito. We want to kill them. We want to kill them. That is our endeavor from all departments. Engineering, science, mosquito trap, insecticides, all kind of applications. But mosquito survives. It mend itself. It now go to brackish water. Then you destroy all the dwelling water in the home front. It go to brackish water. But this mosquito flies do the procreation. So they see that the next generation is generated. At the same time, we also found vehicles, planes, modern vehicles. But the modern vehicle never say, I am going to fall. We saw the bird and we produce vehicles, flying, the aerodynamics technology. But sometime our plane fall without telling. While starting, it never say something is wrong. But have you seen any bird falling from the air because something failed in the system? No. So that's the nature. So we are far behind the nature. So we have to apply our effort in this marginal planet. Since all our existence, we built universities for that purpose. The universities are only, the oldest university is 900,000 years old. In Oxford, one of the oldest, 900 years old. In Sri Lankan university is only 100 years old, even the humanities. Even the science faculty not more than 60 years, 70 years. So we are crawling. The entire universe is 4 billion years old. That is the intelligent system. So how will we catch up? So we can't waste our time. Not professorship and all these positions. So lifelong learning is our mantra. So the conference take a big part. That is the young faculties are now encouraged to do this exercise, conference. Because it's inbreeding is a problem. We think we are the masters of everything. That's a dogmatic idea. We never come out of the box. Not only in the global wise, we have to look at other planets. Now look at the American top scientific country, found more Nobel Prize than anybody, exploring the space. Even some experiments are done in the sky labs. Even normal experiments, scientific experiments. They want to do in the gravitational free environment. How it's like. Unless we do it, we wouldn't know. So we as academics, we have to keep on digging. I tell you, this is a big sacrifice, the research, because done in solitude. Because research support existence. That is called Vidya Dharma. You know, cultivation of knowledge is very painful. Sometimes you keep on doing. It may not work. Even if it works, by that time somebody published it. It appears in somewhere else. Then you get disappointed. Our people only measure number of publications. You know, that's what we should appreciate, all the people contributing knowledge. Again, I'll tell you, most of the people contribute to the Hall of Fame of knowledge. In the America, there is a 500 people, names are there in the Hall of Fame. Einstein, Newton, Pythagoras, Sony, Toyota, Honda, you know, engineering and all technology. Most of them, people are not running the family. They forgot to run the family. So absorbed in the research. Yes, don't laugh. This is the way it is. Here we are talking about the fashion. You know, that's what is the difference between the third world and the second world and the first world. First world, they always drive in the front, like a Germany, very less resourceful country. The biotechnology, they have 5,000 firms in the biotechnology. They were the latest one to enter the biotechnology. They were good at engineering technology. You look at them, how the medical product they have. Because you know, the Germans in a very condensed place, they keep on working, irrespective of their wealth. Same thing with the Japan. Same thing with the Korea. Same thing with the Hong Kong. So this is what they do, and they supply. So today we want to get the inspiration and resolution. Especially the world is dependent on the young people. I finished my talk. You know, the most of the creation come from young people. If you take Lionel Messi, soccer player, after retirement, 35 he retires. Even Virat Kohli now is struggling. When he was young, he was batting well. So this is what happening. So all the creation, even if you want to have a baby, when you have early. That's what our master used to say. So creation comes from young people. The best creation of Einstein came when he was 27, the theory of relativity. So this is your time. You know, all people manage. We don't reveal to the real thing. And you have ideas. You know, new startup coming. Even the dropouts of the university started the Apple, Microsoft, Facebook. Young people from California not even bothered to study in the university. They left universities and created these big adventures dominating a world from the garage. So that's what this conference is all about. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for the participation. Participation brings progress. So it's wonderful that even one day, you know, being engaged in this kind of thinking will give you a new dimension in your life. And I really want to congratulate the Dean, Alive Health. She is working under enormous constraint. You go and see that building, only one building, quiet funding, cramped, and they are under the mercy of other people. Then the poet Tulasida says, independence, no happiness even in the dream. I don't think in the dream our Dean Alive will have happiness, because tomorrow she wouldn't know which lab will be shut for her. Terrible condition. As a Vice Chancellor, I want to create facilities, but again the country and public funding is in the trouble. So we want to try to do our best. So we need a resolute attitude. That's what I'm saying. Today I want to congratulate the Alive Health staff. Show your resilience. I tell you, a man who made the time into after death and before Christ, BC and AD, born in a cow shed. The man who made the entire time into AD and BC, after that 2022, he only preached 3 years. At the age of 27 he started. They killed him. But he never had a home. He never had a uniform. He never had a vehicle. He made the entire revolution in the character formation of the people of the earth. But we have expensive Christmas nowadays. Parties. So that's what the Allied may be originated from very constrained condition. Your pioneering staff is so devoted. Now we are running program nursing, MLS, pharmacy, and other new things going to come. And what else, madam? MLS, nursing and pharmacy, radiology, physiotherapy, and big list of things going to come. So we hope and pray the divine blessing. When we are deserving, it will come automatically. That is my belief. I am also come from a village. I have grown up to this level. Because, you know, when you are make yourself deserving, the nature will support. Because that's the way the nature operates. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I really want to congratulate the conference, Lakshmi and lady secretary and editor, all for their hard work. And nothing go waste. The goal is speak one day itself. While we are doing, we wouldn't know the importance. One day the VC media now recording everything, so it will be in our archives. So many people going to see in the future and how we operated this conference at the age of in a decade of the existence of the faculty. It's a wonderful. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for your participation.
Thank you, sir. Your words were so inspiring as always. The next event will be the release of the conference proceedings. I kindly invite Dr. Mrs. S. Sivasinduja, the Chief Editor of the conference, to address the gathering.
morning all. The Faculty of Allied Health Sciences, University of Jaffna, has organized the first International Research Conference on Healthy Delights, Arogyam 2022, which is the one of the satellite conference of Use 2022 under the theme of Harbach in Shaping Healthy Futures. This conference provides an opportunity for the researchers from the diverse health disciplines to explore and disseminate unique, innovative ideas, research finding, and promotes the healthy interaction between the researchers. This year, 27 abstracts were submitted to the conference in 7 different tracks named as communicable and non-communicable diseases, COVID-19 life challenges, maternal and child health, social well-being, clinical laboratory diagnosis, pharmaceutics and therapeutics, sports, yoga, and physical health. Initially, the submitted abstracts were screened to check whether they align with the conference guideline. Then, each of the abstracts was sent to reviewers comprising 1 internal from University of Jaffna and 1 external reviewer in the relevant field and aligned with the double-blind review process. Following the blind review process, 22 abstracts have been accepted for the publication. This unbiased review process has ensured high quality and standard in the publication of the proceedings. Based on the accepted abstracts, the number of tracks and the names were revised as communicable and non-communicable diseases, COVID-19 life challenges, clinical diagnosis and pharmacotherapy, and physical and psychosocial well-being. I take this opportunity to thank all the authors for submitting their research finding in our forum and reviewers for their valuable contribution in the peer review process. I please to acknowledge Dr. S. Sabanan, Associate Editor, ICHD 2022, for his valuable input in the preparation of conference proceedings. I greatly intimated to thank everyone who pointed out errors and made suggestions for the improvement of the conference proceeding. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. Next, I am very much happy to invite our Vice Chancellor, Professor Sivakolundu Sri Satgunaraja, to receive the conference proceedings from the Chief Editor, Dr. Mrs. S. Sivasinduja. Thank you, sir, madam. Next, I am pleased to welcome Professor Nithushi Samaranayaka, the keynote speaker of the conference, to receive the conference proceedings from the Associate Editor, Dr. S. Sabanan. Thank you, madam. Thank you, sir.
Now, I would like to kindly invite Mrs. P. Satya, lecturer in Department of Pharmacy, to welcome the keynote speaker.
It's a great pleasure to have Professor Nithushi Samaranayaka, a professor in the Department of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences, Faculty of Allied Health Sciences, University of Sri Jayawardenepura. She obtained her BSc Special Degree in Pharmacy from the University of Colombo with a first-class honors in 2004. She pursued her postgraduate education in Hong Kong, where she completed her PhD in Medication Safety at Division of Clinical Pharmacology, Department of Medicine, Faculty of Medicine, University of Hong Kong in 2013. She has been a pharmacy educator in the University of Sri Jayawardenepura since 2009 and has a keen interest in training and research activities related to medication safety. She has published 32 full paper publications, and of which 22 were SAI and Scopus Index journals. Professor Samaranayake won the National Research Council Merit Award for publication in 2014. She was a founding editor of Pharmaceutical Journal of Sri Lanka, the official journal of the Pharmaceutical Society of Sri Lanka, for which she later contributed as editor-in-chief from 2016 to 2020. She is currently serving in the editorial board of the Pharmaceutical Journal of Sri Lanka and the Journal of Health Sciences and Innovation, published by the University of Sri Jayawardenepura. She has also contributed as a reviewer to many international journals, including the European Journal of Hospital Pharmacy, Informatics for Social and Healthcare, International Journal for Quality in Healthcare, Journal of Clinical Dentistry, and the Postgraduate Medical Journal. Professor Samaranayake served as a committee member of the Clinical Trials Subcommittee of the Faculty of Medicine, University of Colombo, for 3 years since August 2019. She served as a member of the Medicines Evaluation Committee of National Medicines Regulatory Authority for over 2.5 years and was a board member of the National Medicines Regulatory Authority for nearly 3 years, starting from July 2018. Professor Samaranayake was a member of the Sri Lanka Clinical Trial Registry in 2014 and currently serves as the Joint Honorary Secretary since May 2009. Currently, she is also a member of the Medicine Drug Committee of Sri Lanka Medical Association and an expert committee member for developing a national action plan on medication safety for Sri Lanka as initiated by the Patient Quality Safety Directorate of the Ministry of Health Sri Lanka. It's an honor to have you here, ma'am. The stage is here.
Thank you very much, Satya, for that extremely kind introduction that you gave of me. Vice Chancellor, Sir, University of Jaffna, Dean, Faculty of Allied Health Sciences, University of Jaffna, other deans who are present here from the University of Jaffna, past deans and vice chancellors of University of Jaffna, the guest speaker, distinguished guests, and my dear colleagues. Let me first thank you for inviting me to deliver this keynote speech on your first research conference on Healthy Delights 2022. I'm indeed honored and humbled to be standing in front of this distinguished audience today. Thank you very much for inviting me. As Satya probably kind of conveyed to you, my area of research is, and also my passion of teaching, is on medication safety. So I'm very passionate on how people use medicines, and I want to always ensure that people don't make mistakes
when taking their medicines, because medicines are supposed to benefit us, not harm us. So therefore, for the keynote speech, I thought I'll talk of what I know, than what I don't know. So I'll be talking to you on a very important area, that is on medication safety in a subset, or rather a sub area of medication safety, that is the transition of care. So first, right move. So let's first take, or grab your attention by looking at these beautiful sceneries. One on top is the photo that I took myself of the reverse turn. And the one on the bottom is not a photo that I took myself, but it's of Jaffna. We Lankans know, but for probably Mrs. Philip, as well as all the international guests or speakers joining us through Zoom, this is Sri Lanka. This is the beauty of Sri Lanka we are surrounded with. Within a matter of hours, and a short ride, I must say, compared to other countries, we can experience, if we want, the coolness of the hills, or the crackling sun, or the heat of the beaches in our country. But I just like to ask you to think, although we are surrounded with these beautiful sceneries, do we actually live this beauty? Maybe 5 days out of 365 days in a year, 10 days if we are lucky, we'll make time to go and look at this. Rest is an absolute chaos. I think all of you will agree. All the surroundings may be different, maybe not exactly the same, but all of us are committed to work, struggling to live, struggling to make our families live, and struggling all day long on work rather than enjoy the beauty. This is the reality that we live every day, most of the time. And among this chaos, amidst this chaos, we take medicines as well. We take medicines to make ourselves feel better. We expect to live longer. We expect to have some relief out of the medicines. That's the expectation. And surely it's supposed to give that to you if you use that correctly. But ladies and gentlemen, in this chaos, when we take medicines, if we do not use them correctly, or we use them inappropriately, medications can harm us. We may not be sensitive enough to notice us, but so many people around us are affected by harm because of medicines every year, and we feel the seed, and mostly they are the older people, because they just get neglected while we live our life to struggle to achieve. We don't have time to give them, we don't have time to look into them, because they're the older category and they're more prone to adverse drug reactions anyway, and they are the ones who are mostly affected to medication. So the WHO saw the problem, this public health problem, which is there globally, not only in Sri Lanka, globally, about this harm that can come that can come because of use of medication. And they launched their third Global Patient Safety Challenge in March 2017. And the goal of this is to reduce severe, avoidable medication-related harm by 50% in the next 5 years. So 2017, we're almost a harm that can be and should be prevented. They are not the ones that just occur without us knowing that we can't. Harm that I'm talking about to you is harm that can be prevented. So the WHO expects, and they took it out as a priority area to tell the world, look here, you need to work in your respective countries to reduce harm related to this preventable medication. And they pointed out three key areas for stakeholders to look into deeply. That is the use of polypharmacy, and for those who are not so familiar, polypharmacy is the use of 5 or more medicines by a person. So if you're using 5 or more medicines, it's polypharmacy. Whether it's good, bad, I'm not going to discuss today because that's not the topic. Then high-risk situations is another topic, but transition of care, which I'm going to take as a topic today, is the third area that they highlighted in actively working on reducing medication safety. So that's why my keynote speech on tackling challenges in the transition of care. And, like the Vice Chancellor said, can the human factor help in reviving this problem, or whether it cannot? Let's talk about it during the talk. So first of all, I want to talk about the challenges in transition of care. I think that's what I'm going to really talk a lot about, and the reasons for medication-related harm at transition of care, and the human factor contributions, thirdly, is kind of my content for the keynote speech. Let me introduce, ladies and gentlemen, 4 people who are going to join with me in my keynote speech. Mr. Joe, Mrs. Jean, Mrs. Janu, and Mr. Siri will join with me to relate to all of you my thoughts on harm related to medication. I must emphasize here that out of these 4, 3 stories are true stories, but the photographs I'm using here and the names are hypothetical, they're not the real patients. Okay? But it's they're from the web, and so let's take our journey with these 4 people. Let me introduce Mr. Joe. He is a 70-year-old man living with his wife, and he has been diagnosed with asthma and diabetes for the past 10 years. So he's been living with this. He obtains his medication from a primary care institution in his hometown. And recently, he had a very severe chest pain, sweating, shortness of breath, and he was rushed to the tertiary care hospital because the primary care is a small unit. He was rushed to the tertiary care hospital, the nearest one they could find, and at that point, they diagnosed this patient to have had a severe heart attack. Thankfully, Joe survived. He was treated, and he came home. He was given medication. The only thing he was asked to was to come back like every month or every once in 2 months to the hospital cardiovascular clinic to be assessed. Nothing was said about the medication he takes on asthma and his diabetes from the primary care. So Joe comes home. So before I proceed, ladies and gentlemen, I take this definition to explain to you what transition of care means. So these movements of patients from from home to a healthcare institution and back is a transition of care. So in terms of Mr. Joe, he usually goes to the primary care center to get his medicines for asthma and diabetes and comes back home. That's one transition of care. And when he had his heart attack, he was taken to the tertiary care hospital and he was brought back. He was admitted and he was discharged. That's 2. Admission is one transition of care, discharge is another. And then he was asked to come to the clinic later. That's another transition of care. So, for those who are not familiar of what you mean by transition of care, this movement from one healthcare institution, it need not be hospitals only. It can be your movement to a pharmacy and buying the medication. It can be movement to complementary medication or Ayurveda practitioner and getting the medication. That is transition of care. So after talking about or relating to you or defining what transition of care means, let me take you to the real picture of Joe. That was just a spotlight in his life I wanted to use to teach you on, or rather explain to you on what transition of care means. this is the reality for Joe. So like I said, he is diabetic and asthma. He goes to his primary care institution. Here, as you can follow my arrow, he goes there and gets his medication. His wife, however, is not very keen on him having Western medicines. He thinks you're putting chemicals into the body too much. So she is always advocating Joe to go and get Ayurveda or complementary medication. So he visits the complementary medical practitioner in his town as well. And his medical practitioner in the town, complementary medication practitioner, gives him medicines for his diabetes also. He takes that as well. And Mrs. Joe, that is Joe's wife, is also interested in making sure Joe is better. So her friend has said, you're eating tebu leaves. That's kind of a leaf that has proven to have qualities that could reduce blood sugar. So it's a commodity that we use in our food, tebu leaves. We have another name. So she said tebu leaves is good for diabetes. So she cooks tebu leaves for Joe every once or twice a week. And on those days, Joe thinks, okay, I'm not going to take my anti-diabetic medication from the hospital because I'm eating tebu leaves. Then he has a back pain for which he would go to the pharmacy and get medication from the pharmacy. I'm not sure whether there was a pharmacist or not, but he says he gets a round pink tablet which should be ibuprofen. That is an NSAID, which for those who are not so familiar should be obtained with a prescription and not without a prescription. And in the meantime, like I explained before, he had the chest pain. He was admitted to hospital. He was in the hospital and discharged and so on. So ladies and gentlemen, this is the complicated lifestyle of an ordinary common man in our country or most of related countries who will be getting health care for themselves. So in a country like Sri Lanka, where there is very rich heritage of using complementary medication, when there is very easy access and cheap access to herbs that give you medicinal value, when then there is no system to guide you on which level of care to approach, you are free. So this is the complicated life of an ordinary man, and this is the complication of transition of care. So ladies and gentlemen, let me put things right because you may be having different thoughts running in yourself right now. What is wrong here? What is wrong in me explaining about this very complicated transition of life? It's not about taking complementary medication. I'm not here to say complementary medication is better than Ayurvedic or Western medicine, or that Western medicines are better than Ayurveda. I'm not here to say that. It's not a problem of taking Western medicine. It's not a problem of taking complementary medication. It's not a problem about taking herbs in your diet. It's about these kind of people being unattended and unmonitored and having so many choices to make about their health at hand, free to make their choices alone and not guided or monitored by healthcare professionals. So what could have gone wrong? What could have gone wrong to Joe is, one thing, his Ayurveda medicine for diabetes and his Western medicine for diabetes could have become too much, and he could have had very low blood sugar levels and could have been detrimental. There could be drug-disease interactions, like he's taking this big pink tablet, probably an NSAID, which could interact with his asthma, as well as we don't know his kidney status with all this comorbidity. So we don't know whether it's better, but nobody is monitoring him. There could be duplications, that is, the same thing, like the anti-diabetic medications could be like he was not told on what he should do, like when he was discharged from the tertiary care hospital after his heart attack. Nobody told him whether he should go to the primary care back again and get the same medication, continue it, or stop it. So the choice is Mr. Joe's. So if he decides to continue, the primary care and the tertiary care may both give medicines for asthma and diabetes. If his choice is to stop the primary care and only go to the tertiary care, most probably tertiary care would miss his asthma because it's not documented anywhere. An omission. And on his day, he's not adhering. On the day he eats table leaves, he's not taking his diabetes medicine. So an ordinary common man who is not so educated on his medicine, the gravity of using medicines, has lots of choices, and it could be detrimental one day to this patient if we don't make effort to reduce harm related to medicine. So this is another example. So I'll take 3. Now that is just a collation of all the things that I have experienced during my time. Next 3 examples are true scenarios. This is Mrs. Train. She is 65 years old. She was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, arthritis, and diabetes, and she's also had it for 10 years. She takes medicines for both these diseases from a private consultation. A consultant gives the medicine. A friend, however, tells her, there is this good medicine. I would call it, because of the international audience with us, herbal oral syrup. But this is what we call Arishta in Sinhala and in Ayurveda. So this good one is there. So I'm going to. So why don't you try that? So she doesn't meet the practitioner. She gets a bottle down and consumes it, and seems better. She thinks better, so she gets another bottle down and consumes it. And suddenly they find that the diseases, nor did, because it was a drug for rheumatoid arthritis, the Western medicine people didn't know she was taking the complement medication unmonitored. It's not about taking the Arishta and the multiple medicine. It's about unmonitored patients in this scenario and taking choices themselves and coming into detrimental issues. This is Janu. She's 29 years, married with a child. She doesn't have other diseases, but about 3 months ago, she had a hospitalization because she had a very prolonged menstruation for about 3 weeks, and she had to be hospitalized. And there she was discharged. So that's her past history. But right now, she had felt difficulty in breathing, kind of shortness of breath, malaise, like kind of ill feeling, and so she had to be also a mild chest pain. So she was taken to the nearest secondary care hospital. There she was identified or diagnosed to have iron deficiency anemia, most probably because of her prolonged bleeding during menstruation. She was given blood in the hospital, and she was told to go home with medicines. The only information given to Janu was to take the medication and come back in 6 months. So that's all she knew, come back in 6 months. She happened to call me because I knew her. So she's a girl who can read English, but still she couldn't read the labels on the package because they were just short forms. But we read OCP, that is oral contraceptive pill. So she thought this medicine is to avoid pregnancy. She is familiar with the package because contraceptive pills are usually common medicine, common or known to people. So this is to stop having babies. So I shouldn't take it, she said. So she nearly didn't take OCP, but actually the OCP was meant to regularize her menstruation, regularize her bleeding, because she had prolonged bleeding. If she continued bleeding like that, she would continue with her anemia. So the OCP was meant to, that was actually her therapy, but nothing was told by the pharmacist, nothing was told by the doctor, nothing was told by the hospital. How would she know? She nearly didn't take it. She would probably have taken the iron, the folic acid, and the vitamin C and gone back in 6 months after having long bleeding. So that's detrimental issue because the patient is undocumented, doesn't know the medicine. Well, this is transition of care, mind you. At hospital, back home. Right? Last one, my case, Mr. Sidi. Now he is a 70-year-old man. He has liver disease. He has liver function failure. That's his main problem. Because very frequently, so he's at home, cared at home, but very frequently he's hospitalized because of his liver failure, he comes into, from time to time, he comes into confusion states. So he's managed by the liver clinic in the tertiary care hospital he goes to. He also has diabetes on the side, which is managed by another clinic in the same tertiary care hospital. So two clinics in the same tertiary care hospital managing the liver disease and the diabetes. So, like I told you, he's usually going to the hospital, in and out of hospital because of confusion for liver disease. So recently also he had a kind of a confusion and kind of sick feeling, ill feeling, and the family members thought, okay, another episode, and rushed into the hospital. There he was. Oh, before that, recently at the diabetic clinic of that hospital, they found that the patient is not poorly controlled in his blood sugar, and he was taking 40 milligram glycoside in the morning and 40 milligram in the night. They increased it to 80 milligram morning and 40 milligram in the night. So now back to the scenario, he got very confused, rushed to the hospital, and at the hospital they found he was extremely hypoglycemic, could have gone into hypoglycemic crisis and died. Because the liver clinic and the diabetic clinic did not have any communication between them. His changes to his medication were not documented. 80 milligram and 40 milligram twice a day would be normal for any patient, but not for the liver transplant, liver failure patient probably. There should have been communication between the two clinics. So ladies and gentlemen, these are just 3 examples, simple examples, but could have ended up in a very detrimental way because hypoglycemia, hyperglycemia, or bleeding were their consequences of problems in medication. So a lot of people go through this. Although these are just 3 simple cases, the WHO in their technical report has shown they have reviewed about 20 articles and done a systematic review and said about 559 people out of 1,000 are at risk of getting at least one medication discrepancy when they take medication. So let me sidetrack a bit and tell you what medication discrepancy means just for your understanding in case you don't know. Discrepancy means there is a difference. So if there is a difference in how you are supposed to take the medication as advised by the prescribers or the pharmacist, and how you take it, you match that and say if there is a difference in how it was advised and how it was taken, that's called a medication discrepancy. So the WHO has reported that these medication discrepancies happen in the community, in hospital admission, in hospital discharges, transferring within the hospital as well. I'm not going to just repeat the data. Just know that these happen and so that it's an extremely important area. Okay? So in the meantime, the WHO has also mentioned that all these data are mostly from the high-income countries, and there is and on hospital admission and discharge, that's where they have focused more. So in a research conference like this, I would like to sidetrack a little bit and say and communicate to you that data on medication safety in transition of care is less in the low and middle income countries. But the WHO has also said the data that is there is enough to tell that it happens in low middle income countries and happens as much as in high middle income countries. So it happens, but we need more data. So I thought, because the WHO said that, I'll just also introduce you to a few of our results that our research group did. These research were not meant to look at medication discrepancies at transition of care. It was, our first attempt was to see medication errors in different settings. But while doing so, we came across medication discrepancies in patients. So this is a study that we did in old age home patients. Patients in old age homes. So they usually, most of them that we approached, they usually get their medicines from the hospital clinic and come back home, in the sense to the old age care home, and take their medicines. And looking at the administration errors, we saw there were a lot of problems, and these are some examples. Medication omissions, that is, they omitted the medication they were supposed to take. They took the wrong dose, they took it at the wrong time, they took extra doses at times, sometimes, and they took it in wrong frequency. Examples are given here too. I'll just spell it out for your information. So Benzexol is for a psychiatric medicine. It's supposed to be taken, so the patient was advised to be take it 2 milligrams twice a day. However, the patient did not administer it. They thought, okay, I don't need the medication, I won't take it. Wrong dose. Example, glyphosate 40 milligrams was administered instead of 80, and the doctor had said take 80, he took 50. That's what it's called. Atorvastatin is a statin, or most of you all must be familiar of this medicine. It's best given at night. It works better at night. So it's always given nocte, or in the night. These 4 patients took it in the morning. Folic acid was supposed to take once a day. They took it 2 times a day. Almost you can understand. Then carbidopa is a combination given for Parkinson's. They were supposed to be taking it 4 times a day. They took it 2 times a day only. They decided, because they were not monitored. Another example, another study, this was a study where we looked at patients who come to a family practice center that we call a primary care center, and we looked at if clinical pharmacy services can help identify medication errors. In the meantime, we also found these medication discrepancies in transition of care, that is from primary care to home. So I have included 3 examples. That is, the patient was found to take chlorpheniramine. You know it in a very, well, brand name, I shouldn't say it's written, usually given for rhinitis or allergy. So this patient continued taking it because it helped him sleep better. Another patient, celecoxib was prescribed for pain. It's an NSAID, taken only by a prescription. So one patient, the patient was given celecoxib, he was taking celecoxib. He was given celecoxib at the family practice center also, but they didn't know he was already taking celecoxib. No connection between the 2 transition systems. 2 different paracetamol. That's the worst that can happen to you. Here, the one prescription had the paracetamol brand name. The other one was given as paracetamol. Patient didn't know it was good, the same drug. Really good one. And if these clinical pharmacy services were not there, they would have done all 3. So these were near misses, so they were detected and stopped. But another important scenario I have seen, I haven't included here, is Canadine and paracetamol. Some patients are given Canadine for better care, probably by the prescriber. They come home and take paracetamol. We don't know that paracetamol is there. How would they know? How would they know? You can't expect them to know. So, ladies and gentlemen, these are some examples of transition of care. And I think I managed to at least give you a glimpse of a small idea of how challenging transition of care can be for people, ordinary people, and they're totally unaware of the danger, including my mother at home. They would even listen to me. reasons for these problems in transition of care? Surely we can't not have transition of care. We should have transition of care. It gives us better care. So what are the problems? There may be a lots of problems by which I would like to elaborate on the lack of collaboration. So the Ayurveda practitioner is there, the Western medicine practitioner is there, the pharmacy is there, then the primary care and secondary care probably there, but they don't know which one is which. You think? Thank you very much. So they are not connected, they are not collaborated, and they don't know which one is doing what. And that's a danger, ladies and gentlemen. So poor Joe could have been in real danger, and even this Jane, because complementary medication and the Western medication. If the practitioners knew this was happening, they wouldn't allow it. They would say, no, the Arishta is not good for your diabetes, so you'll have to have something else, or the vice versa. Right? So lack of collaboration is a problem. Lack of documentation is a problem. If the changes of medication to Siri in the liver, in the diabetic clinic, was there and was apparent to the liver clinic, they would probably say, no, we can't increase the dose to this patient. But they were not connected within the same hospital, a tertiary care hospital, true story. So in another study we were trying to do on stop-start criteria, and we were trying to assess inappropriate medication used by elderly in the community. It was so difficult to do because the community people did not have their medication records with them. Why? They were safely stored in the clinic of the hospital in case they lose them. So the patients didn't have any record to give to us. And without a valid documentation, no one can give advice on medication use. Then, lack of medication reconciliation. Probably a new word to some of you. Reconciliation, again I'll explain, means we match. We match the patient's current medication to the past medication and their other diseases, and to see if there is any discrepancy, or whether there is anything missing, or whether there should be anything added. But if you don't do that, you will miss, right? You will miss. So when Joe went home and they didn't tell him what to do about the primary care medicines that he was taking, he could have continued or not continued, omitted or duplicated. Then lack of communication between the healthcare provider and the patient. Janu was not told anything about the OCT, but if it was explained, she would have taken it. Now she's taking it. So these are some of the critical areas in which lots of medication harm can happen at transition of care. So what do I propose? I propose that these patients must be monitored very thoroughly. And at all of these transitions of care, we need to have healthcare providers. We need to have healthcare providers. For example, I'll take pharmacist as an example because I'm a pharmacist, but the same applies to the nurse or the prescriber. So let's say if we have a community pharmacist, the community pharmacist should be able to monitor the patient and see their movement of medication from the pharmacy, their self-prescribing habits, and other treatment options that they're taking. Then there should be a pharmacist in the primary care level. They should be knowledgeable about the medication use of that patient. Then hospital pharmacist should be in the hospital clinic and should monitor patient's medication use there. Then clinical pharmacist in the ward. I must tell you, but sadly, that we don't have a formal clinical pharmacy course in state hospitals in our country. Our medical administrators have failed to understand that gap. But that gap is there. They need to be monitored at admission, at discharge, and then they get transferred from accident ward to ward, or from ward to ward, or from ward to ICU and back. lots of transitions of care. So first step, I would say, we need to have human resources or human factor or healthcare professionals at transition of care so that they are monitored, patients are monitored. Second point, I hope Vice Chancellor is listening to me. Second point is that these healthcare professionals, you can't just have healthcare professionals in these positions and expect things to happen. I mean, you may argue to me, aren't there hospital pharmacists? Aren't there community pharmacists? Or I'm going back to pharmacist example again because I'm a pharmacist, but same applies to other professions, right? So aren't there pharmacists there? So then how come Janu or Jane or Doe or Siri went through such simple problems that could have ended up in their death? We can't have just pharmacists there doing their stereotype work. We need healthcare professionals there who are there to avoid harm related to medication and maximize benefit of medication. You can't just do that by receiving a prescription and dispensing the medicines for that. Right? So let's just take this pharmacist in this primary care center to prove my point. The patient goes to the primary care center, he has diabetes and asthma, and he's going to the pharmacy and getting his medication. The pharmacist takes the prescription, dispenses the medicine, and goes home. That's the stereotype minimum job that you can do, but mind you, we earn our salary for that. We earn our salary, but if you want to avoid harm and maximize benefits, you have to really go out of the way and know the patient. You have to have the knack, you have to have the effort, you have to have in your busy life, I must say, and I know all pharmacists, nurses, and everybody have an absolutely chaotic life, a busy life. In that, they have to have the strength to go beyond and talk to the patient and ask, like Sherlock Holmes, be detectives to find out their problems. They have to know that the patient is taking complementary medicine. They have to know he's self-prescribing NSAIDs. They have to know he's had a heart attack and gone to hospital and back. For that, the patient doesn't know he has to tell. They have to know it. So I'm asking you, ladies and gentlemen, if by receiving a prescription and dispensing medicine, you receive your salary, what would motivate these people to do more? What would motivate us, or healthcare professionals, let me put myself also into it, us to do more if we earn the salary anyway, right? I would say what would anyway make us do that extra mile is the consciousness here. If we have a consciousness and if we have enough sensitivity and empathy and we relate all patients as our family, then we can't let them go. Then you would do that extra mile or extra thing in order to identify problems in these patients. That's why I want Vice Chancellor Sir to listen to me and all educators. This is a university. I'm an educator myself. We must ask ourselves, are we incorporating or inculcating sensitivity, kindness, empathy, selflessness, fairness, that consciousness in people through education? Yes, we are giving them theory as much as we can. We are giving them practical knowledge to the best we can. We are giving them clinical skills to the best we can. We are trying our best. I know that with the limited resources, I'm academic myself, and I know how hard it is for that. We do that. But ladies and gentlemen, my argument here is not to incorporate sensitivity, kindness, empathy into the curriculum. That won't work, ladies and gentlemen, my dear friends, because for us, for any child, the curriculum is just material to pass an exam. If you put kindness into this, like, okay, I do my kindness assignment, here is my assignment, and I get my mark. That won't inculcate kindness in that person, in that person. So we can't, so from childhood, from the inception of school, we are learned to pass exams. We are taught to pass exams. We are good if I pass my exam well, as opposed to my sister, who won't do so well. So I'm the good child because of partners. That's the way we are trained, aren't we? That if I fail my exams but I do a kind deed, would that be good child? No, it won't be good child. So I'm just leaving a thought in you to all the educators that we must think of reforms in education and research on inculcating methods of giving without getting. In this, if we want to have our healthcare professionals to go that extra mile and avoid harm related to medication in our patients. And ending my keynote speech, ladies and gentlemen, let's hark back to the ancient times. This is not another patient. This is what we call the Vedarala, the ancient caregiver or the doctor. Of course, those days, the caregiver is the one who prescribed, he decided the medicines, he went to the forest and found the medicines, prepared it and administered it himself. We can't do that in this era. We need transition of care. That we can't avoid. But ladies and gentlemen, for this Vedarala, the patient's work is almost his family. And his home was the hospital. His home, he was there all the time. He knew the patient so well. And what did he get in return? We only know from teledrama. So let's hark back and see. Let's hark back and see the ancient times. Because your theme is that. We started with a theme like that. We said, okay, machines, changes, machines can help a lot, but machines can't think according to the situation. Machines will not decide according to the situation. They're programmed for a stereotype work. We need humans, and humans must come back. Humans, not the stereotype human that work like robots, but the human who can go that extra mile and think of patients as their own. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, madam, for your luxuriously informative speech. Now, I kindly request our conference chair, Mrs. Lakshmi Kamalarupan, to hand over the symbol of acknowledgement to the keynote speaker. Thank you, madam. Next, I kindly invite Mrs. K. Loshana, lecturer in Department of Medical Laboratory Sciences, to welcome the guest speaker.
Thank you, Navodaya, for giving this wonderful opportunity to introduce our guest speaker. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Before I take the pleasure of introducing our guest speaker, it's my honor to be as a part of this first international conference of Faculty of Allied Health Sciences and standing in front of this wonderful gallery. On behalf of the organizing committee, I'm very much glad to introduce our guest speaker, Mrs. Emali Chima Samuel Phillips, on this special day. She is a registered nurse and possesses more than 15 years of working experience in the field of nursing. She is currently holding the position as Nursing Quality Head at Doga Hatar. Also, she is the site coordinator of National Database of Nursing Quality Indicators and survey coordinator of United States of America. Her research works mainly at Doga Hatar. Also, she is the site coordinator of National Database of Nursing Quality Indicators and survey coordinator of United States of America. Her research works mainly at Doga
And also, her research works mainly focused on the quality control and quality assurance in the field of nursing. More than that, she is one of the supporter and the well-wisher of the Faculty of Allied Health Sciences. She has done several workshops in the field of nursing when she was here in Sri Lanka that supported our students to enhance their knowledge. In addition to that, she is very much enthusiastic and keen to disseminate her knowledge and experience to others. I hope she is the most suitable person to hold this position as the guest speaker in this conference. So without further delay, I wish to welcome our guest speaker, Mrs. Email Chima Samuel Phillips, to share her thoughts and experience to the gallery. Over to you, madam.
Can I start with? Okay, thank you. Good morning, all. I'm so glad to be in a part of this international conference. Thank you so much for Ms. Lakshmi. Can I start Ms. Devi and also all other faculties who organized this meeting, as well as inviting me as a guest speaker. I'm really privileged international conference participate in this one and to share our thoughts. Can I start Ms. Devi and also all other faculties practices which we have done in our as well as inviting me as a guest speaker. I'm really privileged. So today's topic it is an interesting topic so much, and mainly we have faced a lot of things with COVID, and also then too we are here as a health professional or as a multidisciplinary team to present such type of conferences to enhance the knowledge or to improve the health sector. Then too, so again it's a privilege for me as a health professional to participate in this one as a multidisciplinary team to present reached to which level. We know that right now even robotics can do the surgeries for patients. So that much advanced we are in. But at the same time, certain practices which we are doing in the medical field as a multidisciplinary, either it is a nurse, it is a physician, or it is a pharmacology, whomever it is, there are some pitfalls are happening. So it's everywhere internationally it is happening. That is why we should always have a quality improvement in place to improve those things. So I am also here to, I listened all the presentations which have been given before me. I was really happy because everybody is talking about the same thing but in a different view. So the last presentation, it's almost same like my presentation, but here I'm going to discuss that exactly what we have showcased or what we have practiced to improve those gaps. So she has identified and showed that there were medication error due to lack of communication between the health provider and to the patient, or there is lack of communication from the pharmacist and to their customer. So such things are the same thing which is happening also in the health sector. So are we there to criticize, or are we there to take the things in a positive way to improve this, or are we a person who is thinking what is going to happen for me, this is not going to affect me, I'll be getting my salary and I'll be working for it and I'll walk out every day, this is my routine, I don't care about somebody is suffering for this one, it's not me, it is not my family. Are we a person like that? I can bet that we are not in that category. Once we entered into the healthcare profession, already we have an oath saying that inner feeling that we will respect everyone and we will consider everyone and putting ourselves in the other's shoe, like we are already having the empathy, sympathy, humanity, everything will automatically come inside to us when we are entering into this medical field. It can be anything, it can be a doctor, it can be a nurse, it can be even the healthcare provider, the support services which is available in the hospital, like housekeeping, the technicians, anybody who is around the medical sector. So the topic itself I really like when we say hark back in shaping the health future. We know that we are in so advanced improvement of the health sector. So, but still, as I mentioned to you earlier, there are pitfalls, there are gaps, but how we are going to work together to fill that gap as a multidisciplinary team, and or how we are going to address that to improve an organization. This is what I'm going to share with you. Maybe this is a repeated thing, but I'm just showcasing what we have practiced within us. I hope you all can see my PPT. So improvement requires a change. Change is not something very easy to happen in our life. If you take our personal life as an experience example, I will say that I want to reduce my weight. So to reduce the weight, it is a change idea, but I need to put a lot of effort for that one. So as a single person, can I do it? Or I need a support from different level of people to improve this one. So this is the biggest question. So nobody can clap your hands by using your one hand, right? We always need support or the other hand to clap our hand. Same like that in the medical field or in any changes, a single person cannot work. We may put our hard work, extra hard work as a single person, but without a teamwork, we can't be able to achieve anything. Because if I say a weight reduction, maybe I need a good dietitian to check me to support me to give an education, what foods I can take, like that. Maybe my family members to encourage me for my exercise and all. Maybe I need a special trainer for that one. So it is like it's a connection. So it's not happened by a single person, trial or a single person's effort. Always same like that. Medical field also. Whatever changes we want to bring, it's not very easy. Immediately we cannot make it, but we have to follow certain steps to make that changes and to achieve that one. So change as per the Institute of Healthcare Improvement, they said while all changes do not need to improvement, all improvement requires a change. Always, this is exactly they said. Changes we can think for everything, but all the changes will not lead us to an improvement, but all the improvement really requires a change. So when we say talk about the change, whom you are thinking to involve in the changes? Do you think only the higher level of people to be included in this one when you take as a faculty? So maybe the director of the hospital or the faculty or only the principal I will be including. If we think like that, we are wrong. Always we should start from the lower line of our employees or our staffs. So always use the frontline staff to have an improvement in your system, whether it is an hospital, whether it is an faculty or an university or if it is any units, because the frontliners are the one mostly exposed to diversity of people. Initially, when I listened to the first presentation by Mr. I don't know the exact name. I think he's the main person for this conference. So he mentioned that when he born, they checked for the air. If he was not breathing, he said that maybe I would have not been here in this place. So same like that, we should have an order of sequence to think about any changes that we want to do. So start with the baseline. So go to the frontline people and always include the multidisciplinary team in your. Don't think that this has happened in my area, I should not inform this one to the other area. They will be thinking about us very badly. Don't think like that. When you include those people also in your part, improvement practice or some projects, they will be giving lot of ideas in the different view. Further, we will be seeing how it is going to help us. So, first we need to know where is our problem. So, well, where is the system? First of all, do you know that we have a good system in place or not? So you should understand completely about your system, and then only you need to see how we can improve the system. If you don't know about your system, then you cannot just say, okay, I want to solve this problem like that. You cannot go ahead with that. Same like as I mentioned, non-clinical issues is also a big thing. Do not think only medication error has happened within the hospital. Medication error can be also happen in a non-clinical area, which she mentioned at home, because many people, they are reading Google or they are just going and getting some information from their friends and like that. So the awareness or the correction should be, if we want to solve a medication error, it should not be happen in only inside the clinical area. It also should happen in the non-clinical area. Then later we will collect data and we will present how many of them is understanding about the problem, how many of them non-compliance to this one, like what the other presenter has showed for us. How can I identify an opportunity for improvement? So here some of the steps which I want to share with you. That first, identify the problem, example, maybe a medication error, what she has mentioned, then we need to build a team for that one. When we say build a team, it is not just the pharmacy, it is not just for the clinical pharmacist, it should be physician, it should be nurse, it should be a patient, it should be a relative, it should be a nurse educator, it can be a researcher, anybody, I mean, from different areas, you need to build your team for this one. And complete a project charter, which I will be showing as an example later on. And then map your process. So you need to know this is why you need to understand your system very well, what practice currently we are having and how we are going to change that practice. And then identify the root causes. Some of the root causes for a medication error, she already mentioned. There is lack of communication, lack of knowledge. Examples the other presenter she has given. So identifying the root cause is the what it is saying. And then prioritize the root cause. So we may have 10 root finding outs will be there, but all the findings, are we going to work for it? So we need to prioritize findings, and then we need to start working an action plan, and we need to start with the changes. Then we need to conduct, now we know what change we are going to implement. So for that implement, we need to conduct a PDSA, that is called plan, do, study and act cycles. So this PDSA is not for one time. Whenever there is a changes, one change, and then we improved on that one, then we need to go for the next change, like that. Whenever you are implementing a change, you need to do a PDSA, and then we need to measure that change. We will not just put an action. Okay, from today we are going to follow this one, and don't stop from there. We need to measure that changes, how this changes is working. Is it positively working, or it is negatively impacting, or it is giving a good outcome for us or not? That we need to measure. Then we need to implement the change. After that, we need to implement the change. The change should not be implemented immediately when you find out the problem. Then we need to, sustaining the change is very much important. Now, if I say as an example, we found the medication error, we made the changes, we implement that changes, we measure that one. Now, how I am going to sustain these changes? So sustaining is very much important. For 1 year, maybe we will sustain. Maybe the following year, we should not drop on that one. Gradually, we need to increase and we need to achieve the 100%. And then we need to have a good plan in the system how to sustain this change forever. Then we will spread this to others. So here, now I am here to spread the changes, what we have done in our facility in Qatar, that some of the projects that I will be sharing with you. So following these steps, that we have done some good practices in our hospital, and we achieved that one and we sustained that one. Now I'm here to spread that change practice to you all. So first we need to have a brainstorming. Now we have a team, as I mentioned to you earlier. So we need to do a brainstorming. When you do a brainstorming, you will get lot of opinions, lot of issues that they will be talking. So let us talk as a medication error only. So when it says medication error, the staff will say, I cannot understand the doctor's handwriting. That is why I made it the mistake. And then maybe they said there is no proper order from the doctor. Maybe somebody will say the clinical pharmacist did not do the reconciliation for the medication. Then somebody may say that the previous nurse did not hand over to me properly. Or somebody may say, when the pharmacy called, they did not tell that this medication is not available, something like that. So when we do a brainstorming, we will be getting a lot of suggestions, lot of opinions. But are we going to take all these brainstorming comments? No. Also, we should know during doing the brainstorming what can be done and what cannot be done also. So, do not criticize anybody's brainstorming comments. There is nothing wrong and no ideas are wrong. Everything is valid. Think out of the box. Do not think only what you have in your practice. No, think out of the box. It means look for researchers, see some other hospitals, how they are improving this, how they are working for, then discuss the brainstorming finally. Do not discuss by the higher level. Include the frontliners also and tell these are the brainstorms we got, but we are going to select from this brainstorm this as a main thing. Like that, you need to fix that brainstorm. Then order is not important. It can be in any order initially, and then do not overthink and all to participate. So when you have a group, you may have different type of people in the group. Somebody will be very talkative, somebody will be very initiative, somebody will be like outspeaking, but some people they will not be talking. So you have to encourage each and every one, and you give a slip of papers to them and let them write in that way. So this is a way that we need to do a brainstorming, which we will be doing during the project work. So after we got these all, we will be doing an affinity diagram. So here we are just categorizing. I'll show as an example. You see, we are just categorizing. Here, our problem is, this is an example of a project. Reason for delay in inpatient discharges in the inpatient ward. So they have given many brainstorming reasons. Out of that, shortage of doctors, we took this as a manpower issue. There were very less doctors, that's why they are coming for the rounds very lately, and they couldn't able to make the order properly on time. So this rounds they cannot make it at time. So that's the reason. So we put this under the manpower. Then we got some brainstorming saying waiting for consultations, delay by nurses, delay in physician order, delay in medical certificate. These all we consider this as a documentation. Maybe the doctor has seen the patient, but he did not complete his order or he did not complete his documentation, means we cannot discharge a patient, right? I believe everybody know that one. If you take this as a pharmacy level, maybe you did not receive the order from the doctor to dispense the medication for the patient. So it is also again delaying. Maybe the doctor requested to do a blood test before discharging a patient, but the order is not in the place, or maybe the nurse did not extract the blood sample. That is why we cannot discharge the patient on time. So it can be anything. So we put this under the documentation. Then delay in process. Yes, as I mentioned to you, delay in carrying out discharge process, lab tests, waiting for dialysis slots, no OPD slots, cashiers not available, no OPD. So these all we put as a delay process. Then the next reason they gave, waiting for the sponsor of a family, because in Qatar sometimes the people are coming, the patients are coming from the companies. So those sponsors should come and discharge the patient. So those sponsors sometimes they will not come on time. The hospital is ready with this one, by the nurse, by the doctor, by pharmacist from the laboratory. Everybody is ready, but just we are waiting for the sponsor to come. Or sometimes some patients they do not have a transport. Sometimes we are getting patients as a transit. Directly from the airport, we will receive patients. So from Qatar Airways or any airways, they will not come and pick up the patient on time to take them back to their needed area. So we put this under the transport. And another reasons that they have, waiting for sponsor for family, patient refused to go home. So this is something called either a social reason or a patient related factors. Now all the system is ready, but from the patient itself, patient doesn't like to go home on this particular day. Maybe he want more treatment, or maybe he cannot, if he go home also, maybe there is no one to take care of him, maybe there is many reasons with him. It is considered as a social reason for him. So this is the way we need to order the brainstorming. Then we need to do a fishbone diagram. So this also I will show as an example. So all the reasons we know, we mentioned the manpower, we mentioned process, we mentioned people. So now here I will show another example for you. What we have done is, our problem is non-compliance with VTE risk assessment of eligible patients within 24 hours. Many doctors in this conference, maybe you people will be knowing what is VTE. So for VTE risk patients, certain assessment should be done within 24 hours. Without delay, this should happen. So in this also, we found a lot of brainstorming, and then we put all those prioritized brainstorming into a specific area which is called fishbone. So it looks like a fish, right? So we put a main heading as material, organization, environment, machine, and manpower. Under that, we selected all the brainstorming comments which is prioritized for us. We put, so example, blockade, embargo, lack of resource of appropriate mechanical, pharmacological prophylaxis in our hospital. Then there were lack of eligible patients not standardized, list of eligible patients not standardized. So we don't know for which patient, which type of patients we need to do this 24 hours assessment. There was no certain clear criteria identified by the hospital that time. And then we also know risk assessment not mandatory part of admission orders. So some staffs, they thought that it was not a mandatory risk assessment as an admission order. It can be done anytime. Like that, you know, that all the negotiations were there. Then also they did not specify the population. Are we going to do all the patient coming to the hospital, or we are going to do this assessment only for a particular group of patients? There was nothing standardized during that time. There was no guideline, no protocol followed for that one. So it's considered as an organizational issue. It is not from the staff, it is not from the doctor, it is from the system. The hospital management should think how we can put this as a guideline. Then only the staff can follow. Then when it comes to the manpower, we saw many issues there, like residents usually do the risk assessment, and the patients are very quick turnover, so they couldn't able to complete all. There is lack of awareness, lack of training, accountability, etc., were there. So, and when you take as a machine, so the VT advisor not aligned with current guidelines. So they prepared a guideline, but the guideline is not fit with that one. And we are documenting everything in the CISRNet. I mean, we are not doing any manual documentation. It's a system documentation. So it was not aligned with the system. That is also a problem for us. Then when it comes to the environment was very busy. So that's why they couldn't complete this one. So these are the way that we did the fishbone. So if you want to say fishbone as an example, I mean medication error as an example, I will put in this place this area medication error, and then we will just go to the material. Maybe here I will put that lack of stock available in the pharmacy, dispensing issues are there. In the organization, maybe we will put that there is no proper communication between the health providers, like that. In the manpower, we will put lack of doctors, lack of clinical pharmacists, lack of staff on the unit, like that. So this is the way that we need to do a fishbone for any improvement project. Then change concepts. So now we made our problem, we identified our problem, then we need to work for the change concept. So we need to eliminate the waste, we need to improve the workflow, we need to optimize the inventory, change the work environment, we need to manage our time. Customer relationship is very much important. manage variation and design system to prevent the error. So we are not focusing on this incident alone. What we will be focusing in future, the same error in a different way also, it should not happen. This is the main point of the change concept. So what changes could you do to improve your unit or your service? So we need to first prioritize the quality improvement initiative. These are some of the examples that we have put and we worked as a quality project. So chest pain cases seen in emergency department, then conscious patient who are sedated. These are some of the examples. It can be anything for us. So here what I am insisting you is that we need to prioritize our criteria. Without prioritizing our criteria, we cannot make a change. So now we come to the PDSA, which I mentioned to you: plan, do, study, act. We know the problem, we brainstorm for that one, and we organize that one, we prioritize that one. We know the cause, and now by using the fishbone. Now I took one problem now. So I'm telling that there is no manpower, or maybe I will take there is no guideline for the meeting, or there is no guideline for a proper medication dispensing. So that will be my first problem. So I have to plan for it. I need to do some document. I need to do some analyze for that one. Then I need to study about that problem. And then I need to act for that problem. So n number of PDSAs can be done for one simple change. So it is not just one PDSA. Any improvement you are planning within your change, like here for example, it mentioned monitor implementation and continue use, modify and implement into standard practice, test with the small group. So each and every step we need to do a PDSA. Without doing a PDSA, we don't know that how much we are improving, or is it really working well or not. So this is also same. So we can do PDSA RAMs, we can do n number of PDSA as mentioned to you earlier. So this is some of the data which I want to show after all these steps which we followed to decrease the adverse events in medication error. So initially I mentioned to you, in our facility we are taking everything as a part, every incident to improve the things, not to blame. So we are following a blame-free culture. So we will not point out why this doctor did this one, why this nurse did this one, why the pharmacy did like that one. Like that we are not pointing out, and we are not ignoring any issues also, any incidents also. So even if the medication error, we are considering medication error as not only the wrong medication given to the patient. No, we are considering near miss also. Like the order was potassium, but the staff, she gave calcium to the patient. No, she didn't give, she prepared calcium. It did not reach to the patient, but she prepared calcium instead of potassium. We are reporting that also. We have a OVA system which is called occurrence and variance report. Immediately the staff will report that one. Why she is reporting? Because she is very transparent to report this one, and this should not happen. Maybe there is a lot of reason behind that one because to happen this issue. Maybe the labeling was wrong. Maybe she did not recall the order, recheck the order, or maybe she did not counter check with the other stuff, because there is a problem in the system now, in the process, also from the staff itself. So we need to identify all those things. So that's why we are taking everything positively to improve the system. So these are some of the examples that we have done in our facility, so which is adverse events in medication error. This report is from 2016 to 27. So the one in blue is the medication error. which happened in our hospital during those period, and these are some of the adverse events in the medication error, which is in red. So we were high in number initially, and after we did the projects and we did the PTSA and everything, and then we have reduced this one a lot. So then certain months there is no incidents happened in our hospital, certain months maybe there is a lot. So that also we will be notifying when which month this is peak. Because many months, like we have like vacation time, there will be less staff only on duty, especially like during COVID and all, we were having very minimal staffs in the unit, and the staffs were deployed to many other areas to support community. So we will be focusing these indicators during these particular periods, because we are very much high risk to have this incidence during these times. So these are also again types of medication error. As the other presenter mentioned, it can be anything: prescribing error, it can be a transcribing error, dispensing error, preparing error, or an administrating error. So when it comes to prescribing, it surely will happen from the doctor. When it is a transcribing error, this is by the nurse, because what the doctor is prescribing, the nurse should transcribe that medication. And then when it's dispensing, it is from the pharmacy. When we say preparing, this is by the nurse as well as the pharmacy, clinical pharmacy. When it is administrating, purely this is by the nurse, it is a charge nurse. So here itself there is many people involved in this issue. So if you see, many of our incident is a prescribing incident. Why the doctors are not aware? You are thinking like, no, because it may be many reasons. It may be short of manpower, it may be there is terminology issues, maybe handwriting issues. So many things are inside that one. We have identified all those things by using the brainstorm, which I am not which I cannot explain to you here, but you know already the steps that what we follow. So we are not just seeing one problem, we will be just focusing on many problems to bring a change idea. So this is this is what I said as what is that the chart. So we should have always an aim, what we are looking for, what is our focus, what is our aim. So our aim was zero incident of adverse event from reported medication errors by December 2018. So the report which you saw was 2016 and 2017. So our aim to achieve this issue to be zero by 2018. Then our outcome measures. So you all know what is outcome, what is process and balancing. So outcome measures is that whether we are achieving this aim or not. The process measure is that are we bring the changes in the policy, in the guideline, in the practice. That is our process measure. And then the balancing measure is because of bringing this indicator, is it going to affect negatively in another way, or a positively it is going to affect. So if you take a medication error, maybe the rate of reporting error is an balancing error. So what I mean to say here, before we bring this as an indicator, the nurses and doctors, they were reporting very easily in the system, like there is a medication error, maybe you receive 20 medication error during the time of 2016 per month. But after you start a project for to reduce this one, maybe you just saw a report saying only 3, only 5 for 1 month. So it means it negatively impact, because now the staffs are scared. Maybe the doctors are scared to report this one, because they may think that, oh, if I report, they will catch me. They will call me for inquiry and all those things. Like that, maybe they thought initially. That is also to be measured when we are doing a project. So the balancing measure is very much important. I can give you another example. We want to discharge our patient with discharge before 11 a.m. So that is our aim. Want to discharge all the patients before 11 a.m. So our outcome measure will be like 80%, 90% of patients should be discharged within 11 a.m. And our process measure is that we will be working with the bed management, we will put a criteria, what type of patients can be discharged, we will be putting an inclusion, exclusion criteria for that one. We will be involving many multidisciplinary in this one, doctors, nurses, bed management, case management, home care treatment, ambulance services, etc., etc. So this is our process. So when I say balancing measure, I'll be saying that returning to the hospital within 24 hours after getting discharged. It means my indicator or my performance improvement is negatively impact to what I want to achieve. I am discharging by 11 o'clock, which is very good, but at the same time, my patients are coming back to the hospital within 24 hours after we discharge. So, which is not good also. So again, we need to look for a solution for that. So it means 100% I was not achieved with my target. I achieved that first outcome, but I did not achieve my balancing measure. So I hope that this is very clear for everyone. So the outcome, process, and balancing is very much important when you think for an change idea. Then after that, then we achieve. So this is what our summary conclusion for that project: disseminate standard formulary for prescribing, barcode system. These are all the actions which we have done in order to achieve zero incidence of adverse event. We brought a barcode system, so the staff will not just read the patient name. The ID bank will have a barcode system, so the staff will scan that barcode system. Also, she will scan the medication, so it is avoiding the medication error. And we made 2 nurses to verify the medication order and the administrator for administering. For that also we made a criteria. Not all the medicines should be verified by 2 people. Like high risk medications, like high alert medications will be verified. Like that we made certain rules. Then improve medication reconciliation. So we increased the manpower also. We increased more clinical pharmacists into the scene, and we made them available all the time. So there were frequent medication reconciliation was happened for all the discharge patients and before getting discharged. And also we improved reporting and feedback system. So whenever they are reporting, we are also giving a good feedback for them, whether it is a good or bad, we are giving, and we are strictly following the blame-free culture. So we open the door for everyone to report such type of incidents. So this is the same thing. This is what we try to accomplish. The second one, how we will know that the change is an improvement without having an outcome measure, process measure, and a balancing measure. We will not be knowing whether we improved or not. And then these are the results for our improvement. So this is a format that how we made each plan step by step, whom we involved, how many days it took, how we performed to improve that one, which facility we include, which unit we have included. All this is like a task we have put this one. So these are all part of this one. So this is the PDSA explanation. So for each step what we are doing. Then another project I want to share with you also. This is about reducing the percentage of priority for patients leaving without being seen. So in Qatar, it is it's like a government hospital where I am working. So everything is free for them. So multinationality people will be coming here. If you take Qatari percentage of patients, maybe out of 100, only 20 patients will be Qataris. Remaining all will be non-Qataris will be there, like non-GCs, like Indians, Nepalese, Sri Lankans. There is many Egyptians, Jordanians, Indonesians. So many people were there. So what will happen? Our emergency everyday basis in a shift we will be receiving like 1,000 patients. So it's a big number. So they couldn't able to control all the patients. Many patients were disappointed coming to our hospital and they will go home. They will register, and after some time when you will call for the patient, you will not be seeing that patient. This patient will be going because they are dissatisfied. They are waiting for a long queue in our hospital. So we have a system called CTAS, which is Canadian Triage Assessment system we are following. So any patient coming, according to that signs and symptoms only, we will prioritize the patient, critical or non-critical. So like priority 1, 2, 3, 4. So priority 4 patients will be like coming to the emergency with a simple complaint. Okay, so if you see in Qatar, this is a style. So any cold, simple cold, common cold, they will come to emergency. They will not go to the health center. Directly, they will come to the emergency, which is impacting a lot to give a proper care for the real needed patients. So that's where we come up with this project, how we can reduce this one. So again, it is a multidisciplinary. So we put a project charter, what is our problem. So our problem is reducing a percentage of left without being seen by a physician for priority 4 patients in our emergency department. Then we put what we are going to achieve in that one, all the plans we put, and also we said whom we are going to include, whom we are going to exclude from this one, and the team we selected. After the team selection, we started sitting for the brainstorming. After the brainstorming, this is our process map which I showed you. We prioritize our concerns, how it should happen. So the patient should come to the greeting, then they will register, they will wait in the waiting area, then the triaging will be done for the patient, then again the patient will go to the waiting area, then the physician will be seeing. After the physician seeing, he will be dispositioning the patient, either discharge. Many of the patients in priority 4 will be discharged. Only like 2% of patients will be getting admitted or transferred for the needed facilities. So now after we prioritize our issue problems, we started doing our fishbone. So our problem is high number of left without being seen, and then we have done fishbone for this. So we put measurement, we put materials, people, method, machine, and environment. So under the measurement, if you see that we have noticed there is high emergency length of stay for a patient unnecessarily, maybe because of bed shortage, bed availability, or many other social reasons. Then triage physician exam timing is very high. The doctors are not quickly seeing the patient, and also the nurses are taking long time to complete the vital signs and all those things. And from the bed management, we did not get a proper order to admit the patient immediately. So many reasons were under the measurement. When it comes to the material, there is no proper education pamphlets available for the patient to tell them. Priority 4 means you need to wait in the hospital more than 1 hour before the doctor will see. Priority 3 means you will be seeing within 30 minutes. Priority 2 means you will be seeing within 15 minutes. Priority 1 means you will be seeing within 5 minutes. So such type of education was not there available for the patients to know about our triage process. So there is no mistake from the patient publics. It is the issue of the system. And then there is no lack of signage for them. They will go to one area for triage and they do not know where they have to go and wait for the other doctors or for the next level of their care. So we identified that. Then when it comes to people, We saw high number of patients, and as I mentioned to you, even for a simple thing, they will come to the hospital. Some patient come in the midnight saying there is dandruff. I have a dandruff issue. Some patient will come that I couldn't able to just remove my, I have problem with my nail color change, which is not an urgent issue. For all these simple things, the patients will be coming to emergency. They will never go to the health center, or they will not go to the private sector. But we, as ethics, we cannot ignore any patients. As you all know, we should accept every single patient, whether it is a real complaint or it is not a valid complaint. So some patients, they will just come for the sick leave. If they don't want to go for duty next day, they will just come to get a sick leave from the doctor. For that reason, they will be coming. Then this, as I mentioned to you earlier, our documentation is system based. We are not doing paper documentation. So some staff, their skill, they do not know really how to type. They will search one by one in the keyboard and to do document. So this will also take long time for one patient to complete their documentation. Then also we have noticed like high number of low priority patients, patient expectation. Sometimes there is nothing, but the patient will be insisting for us to give for this consultation. They themselves will suggest for us where who has to be seen by the sometimes they will prefer the doctors. I want this doctor on duty, please give me for this doctor. They will not choose the one who is available. Then unable patient and family educator all the time. We were having a big gap in the language barrier, because this, as it is a multi nationality hospital, so we are facing different nationality here, and many staffs are Arabic staffs, so they doesn't know Tamil, they don't know Hindi, they don't know other languages. Maybe they know only two languages like Arabic and English. Many staffs doesn't know Arabic. So also we are receiving many Arabic patients. So it was a big gap for us initially. And then when we say the method, improper communication to the patients, so the nurse will not, she will do the vital signs, but she will not communicate to the patient saying, your doctor will be seeing you after 1 hour. You have to wait in the waiting area. Like that, they will not inform. They will just do the vitals and they will send the patient. A few staffs are there, they will be very much comply with that, but many staffs, they will not comply. Then the delay in communication, improper triage process, and also the triage out process. So we have a system called, if we know that this patient is really least priority, we will be referring this patient to the health center before seeing by the doctor itself. Also, the staffs are very scared. If I send any patient back, if something will happen, who is going to, I will be the one going to blame. Like that, she is very scared. They are not confident enough to do that one. So these are our method, lack in the method. When it comes to the machine, inadequate medical equipments, insufficient CT scans, poor quality mouse, inadequate computer. So these are some of the issues we found out as a machine. Then when it comes to the environment, inadequate waiting areas, inadequate physicians exam cubics, there were very less cubics available for a big number of patients, unavailable beds in urgent areas, and physical layout also was an issue. So after we find out all our problem, we just put our priority, which one we are going to work for this. So our aim, as I mentioned, reducing percentage of length of stay or left without being seen of patient from the emergency from 3.5% by December 2020. So this is our primary drivers, then this is our secondary drivers, then we come to the change idea. So this is our change. So proper disposition, that is our secondary problem, the prioritized problem. For that, we made a change idea saying triage out process to QRC. QRC is Qatar Red Crescent. So any patient, if they have to be triaged out, we kept a doctor near to the nurse and the doctor immediately will decide, okay, this patient is not for emergency, we will send this patient to the Red Crescent. Like that, they will segregate the patient so that we will reduce our workload. Then definite care area. So we assigned a specific cubicle for patients. So if it is a respiratory, they have to go this area. If it is a GE patient, they should go here. If it is a cardiac case, it should go for the first floor. Like that, we have put a specific cubic for each patient to have their for the assessments. And then we also made other things which is shown here. So I think I don't want to spend much time on that one, so I'll just move quickly for these things. So we did PDSA for each change ideas, and then we achieved like this. So average triage to the doctors, you see, you can see it in the graph how much we improved after our change ideas. So these are some of the results that which I am showing for you. So we just work on left without being seen by the doctor, priority 4 non-GCC. So from 7, then it was like 9.6, 10.8, like that. And after we did the change idea and project, we reduced now this up to 7. This is the report of November 2019. So now in 2022, we really achieved this as a 2% now. The current report I did not present for you. So when we did the project, this was, so now we are sustaining in this one. So there were a lot of, so this is our balancing measure, percentage of written within 48 hours. So if we triage out the patient, or if we give the priority and we send the patient, are these patients coming back to emergency? So when we look for that one, it is very minimal number one of patients only coming back after we triaged out those patients to the Red Crescents. So this project is like 90% success, which is more than enough to have a sustainability. So we are still following to maintain this one in our emergency department, and we have really got a good performance on this one. So this is our success. So our conclusion is that we just took this priority 4 as our patient. So change is, as a summary, what I want to mention is that finding opportunities for improvement, it will embrace the change. While all changes do not lead to improvement, all improvement requires a change. Have a team that is very effective, because without a team, you cannot perform. And ask the 3 fundamental questions: what we are going to accomplish, what outcome we will be getting from this one, and are we accomplished this one? This is the 3 questions you need to repeat, and always apply PDSA for any changes and implement the changes, and then spread the changes as I am doing. So there were frequently asked questions there: how long I came up with an idea for improvement, what should I do? My suggestion, please go and do your steps which I have explained to you. Brainstorm. After brainstorming, identify your problem, do a fishbone, and then do a PDSA. Then you measure that elements. After that, you spread and start in a small group. What is my what if my project is not successful? There is nothing called successful. It is always a test only. So once you fail with one change idea, try to change another practice, and then you will success on that one. How long should I take a project? It's up to you. You can have it like 3 months, 6 months. Some it needs like 1 year. But what is important is that how long you are going to sustain that. That is very much important. Does my project need multidisciplinary team? If yes, how many members? It can be n number of multidisciplinary teams in your project. You can have like a small task and groups. So you can distribute your assignments. I mean, you can split all your works in a different. So one group can work for one PDSA, the other group can work for another PDSA, like that you can do. And always multidisciplinary team is working good. So that's all for me. So the continuous improvement is always good. So think for an opportunity and how you can make changes. This is what we need to look here. Thank you so much for all your patience and giving this opportunity for me to present this one. I hope that I add a few values in this conference. I hope you all enjoyed this one. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you, Madam, for your excellent speech from Qatar. We have almost reached the end of the inaugural session. I kindly invite Mrs. Vinitra Jagprakash to the podium to deliver the vote of thanks.
Dear respected audience, good afternoon to you all. I feel honored and privileged to get the opportunity to propose a vote of thanks on this special occasion as the Secretary of the International Research Conference on Healthy Delight 2022. First of all, on behalf of the organizing committee of ICHT, I would like to express my sincere thanks to our Vice Chancellor and General Chair of Youth 2022 who gave us huge support and encouragement to initiate this conference at the faculty level and his valuable presence in this event. My sincere thanks to our Dean and the General Chair of ICHT 2022, Mrs. Devi Tabodaran, for her guidance and support throughout from the beginning. My deep appreciation and thanks for our conference chair, Mrs. Lakshmi Kamalaruban, for accepting to be the conference chair and her tireless work and involvement to make this event successful. I must mention my deep sincere appreciation to our keynote speaker, Prof. Nithushi Samaranayaka, for accepting our request and providing excellent enlightening keynote address. Thank you, Madam. My sincere thanks to the guest speaker, Mrs. M. Lakshima Samuel Phillips, for gracing this gathering and sharing her knowledge and experience. I express my sincere appreciation for our Madam Chairman, Standing Committee on Allied Health Sciences, and former Vice Chancellor, Senior Professor Ms. Vasanthi Arasarannam, Madam, for her valuable presence in this occasion. It's an honor for us, Madam. I convey my deep regards and hearty thanks to former Vice Chancellors, Deans of the faculties, respected council members, heads and academic staff for your valuable presence and gracing this occasion. I am also very much thankful to the advisory board members for their constant guidance and support to shape this event. My sincere deep appreciation to all the paper authors and presenters for sharing their effortless works and findings with us. Also, I wish them all the very best for their future endeavors. I am also thankful to the Registrar, Bursa, and DR administration for their support for making this event success. Our sincere thanks to the Dean, Faculty of Medicine, for continuous support and granting permission to conduct this event in the Hoover Auditorium and other places for conducting the technical session. My sincere appreciation for Mr. Sadish for making publicity to the ICHT through our website, and for Dr. K. Tabodaran for guiding us in using Microsoft CMP. I would like to thank our Chief Editor, Dr. Mrs. Sivasundija, and Associate Editor, Dr. S. Sabha Anand, for their valuable contribution in editing the conference proceeding and make it perfect. I express my sincere appreciation for our Treasurer, Dr. K.K. Diswaran, for his tireless effort. My sincere thanks to our Assistant Registrar and all the academic and non-academic staff of Faculty of Allied Health Sciences for their valuable contribution to make this event successful. My deep sense of appreciation for the students of Faculty of Allied Health Sciences who are involved in dance performance, decorations, and all the logistic arrangements. I am very much thankful to all the participants for registering and attending this conference, and you made the event a successful one. I express my sincere thanks to the North Bay Family Mart, Tirunelveli, for providing sponsor for the conference batch. At last, my heartiest thanks to all the committee members of ICHT 2022 for their involvement and their willingness to make this event a great success. I would like to express my sincere thanks to all who I missed to mention here. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I state my wholehearted gratitude to each and every one of you for your tremendous support. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. With that expression of gratitude, dear ladies and gentlemen, it is time now to wind up the inaugural session. I wish each and every one of you to have a much productive time ahead. The technical sessions will be starting at 2 p.m. after the lunch break. We cordially invite you to join us in lunch at the conference hall, Faculty of Medicine. I would like to mention the venues of the technical sessions for your information, please. Track on COVID-19 challenges, lecture hall, Department of Pharmacy, Faculty of Allied Health Sciences. Track on clinical diagnosis and pharmacotherapy, conference hall, Faculty of Medicine. Track on physical and psychosocial well-being, Hoover Auditorium, Faculty of Medicine. Track on communicable and non-communicable diseases, boardroom, Faculty of Medicine. Also, you can access the washroom facilities on both sides of the auditorium as well. Thank you all for your participation. Thank you.